Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be watching Tundra Immersion. Well, this is actually a stand-in for Tundra, but he played great in this series. This is a match where Immersion absolutely popped off, even though his scoreline doesn't seem like it. He's 1-6, but he has 20 assists. He dominates the lane, understands his job in the game, hits a decent blink dagger timing to enable his lasso, and so all in all, in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys about the priorities of the position 4 role. I'm not going to make this video too much about Batrider as I've made other videos about Batrider. However, I haven't talked about Batrider support, so this video is going to be a bit of a mix, more so leaning towards the priorities of the position 4 role in the current meta. Alright, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day I'm posting a new video to the Game League website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken and really take your game to the next level, I'm going to be able to help you, because sometimes the guides on YouTube, there's either not enough of them, they're not specific, or they're just tier lists, which I know you guys love, but at the end of the day, the Game League website is going to help you get to the next level. So click the link down below and sign up. Alright, so the first thing I'd like to discuss outside of fighting runes, which is always important in the current meta of Dota, with first blood and general early game kills being worth way too much gold, well, not way too much, but a lot of gold, is thinking about your lane matchup, right? And so this is a hard thing to do in Dota because it requires a lot of knowledge, but it's important to take guesses so that you are actually learning from your matches. In this match, he's laning with Visage. If I was to tell you that, what is the first thing that comes to your head? Is it aggressive laner or a passive laner? Well, in my head, I think Visage is one of the most aggressive laners in Dota, with Soul Assumption being a very deadly spell. As a result, I think it's key that Immersion buys enough regen where he can fight in the lane with the Visage, and he looks to play aggressive. And this is what Batrider does best, because the hero has 5 armor, 330 base movement speed, a BS level 1 ability, and if you look at his courier here, he actually has a salve shipping out and 6 tangos, as well as a ton of stats and a sentry ward to eventually block one of the camps. Now, because of the fact that they have a really aggressive lane, it's important that he looks for any opportunity for someone to overextend. I think what most players do wrong is they don't really have a good grasp of what is an overextended opponent or not, and mostly what it comes down to is their positioning in relation to the creep wave. This really is what it is, because the creep wave is what dictates typically winning trades or not in Dota. And that might seem insane in this clip here, because you might be like, oh, Mickey is not that close to the creep wave. Why is this kill attempt, which they're about to go for, he's about to flame break him, why is this go attempt good? Because if Mickey is to try to man up, right, let's say he's going to take the trade, he's going to fight them, and he's going to really fight them. He doesn't want to back off first. And the reason why Mickey would never want to back off first is because if he does, he will get hit 2 to 3 times by both of the ranged heroes on the retreat. And so Mickey only can fight if the ranged heroes come off of the creep wave as lifestealer. Obviously there's some melee heroes that are much stronger at level 1. This is also an identification of, okay, lifestealer is also just a trash hero at level 1. Feast, Rage, Ghoul Frenzy, none of these abilities are good enough to really change the lane. And so yeah, a flame break onto the lifestealer does about 1/3 of his health, and he's gonna chill from there. After that, you're gonna look to typically trade the position 5. The only exception to this is if your hero gets completely dumpstered by the enemy position 5. Maybe the enemy position 5 is Pugna, and you're playing something like Io. Maybe you just feel like you get outranged and outpoked. You'd feel like your offlaner can't help you connect and pressure to Pugna at all. In that case, you can switch where you're trading to the other side of the lane. That's another hard thing about Dota, but it's about knowing your trading matchup. I would say Batrider trades fine into Venom. You have about the same attack range. It mostly comes down to attack range and how strong your level 1 spell is. And this is your next priority in the lane. For the first 50 seconds, you should put all of your focus on trading and looking for harass opportunities. After that, and this is why you have to have a sentry ward with your starting items, or it has to be the first thing you ship out on your courier immediately, is because then, if you are fast enough and you read where they put their sentry, I don't know if you saw the Venom place it here or what, but this is very common. If you can do this and you can place your sentry ward at second 54, you can not only deward the camp, but block the small camp with your body. This is what I like to call being a god gamer. This is insanely efficient. Blocking the small camp and enabling the side pull is going to allow you to win the lane in the long run, as they will be able to, go for a side pull whenever they need to. Also, keep in mind that the Visage has actually gotten a kill on the Lifestealer while all this happened. Soul Assumption onto the Lifestealer took him out, so the trading paid off. He's now shipping out a Blood Grenade and a Mango, so completely doubling down on playing to win the lane, which, as I said, he should do. He's with a Visage against a pretty weak lane. Lifestealer Veno, at least a weak lane to their lane. Lifestealer Veno is good against some like melee Underlord Centaur type lanes, but definitely not this lane. Either way, another flame break opportunity, all relative to the creep wave. Where is the Veno in relation to the creep wave, right? He is basically in the wave. On top of that, they have 4 creeps to 1, and so they have an advantage in the wave here. He identifies this on immersion. It's just a really high skill heads up play. Flame break is also really stupid that it bumps you back and slows you for 5 seconds for 25%. But alas, now he's gonna get off a side pull. And this is what I mean by he's owning the game. You know what core players can't do? Block camps, stack, side pull. And you might be like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's not that important. It's really important. It's really important. So he gets a side pull off here. And that's all due to the fact that he was able to deward perfectly at the minute mark last time, and now they're able to get the lane back. This is going to allow them to continue to keep their pressure up, because now the Lifestealer has to go for up. Unfortunately, they didn't have much of a creep advantage here, and I think this is, I say it's an overextension, but alright, this lane's actually BS. I can't believe that a go attempt like that actually resulted in Lifestealer losing all of his health. But yeah, I mean, that's just him knowing the matchup, right? That's just him having really good awareness on how the matchup plays out. From there, after you've gotten the lane back, honestly, typically what you want to do is just kind of play the lane, because if you try to block the small camp, which you can do in your average pub a lot of the time because the safe laner won't help, but in these pro games, the safe laner, if they see you run over to like block the small camp with your body or with a sentry, they'll actually come over and try to kill you if their position 5 is a kill hero. So like Veno, for instance, heavy kill hero, so he has to be really careful about like blocking the small camp or contesting the pull. Instead, he'll just kind of play the lane, make sure that the Lifestealer misses an entire creep wave, which the Lifestealer did, and then only when he has some free time, he's going to come over and block the camp again. So yeah, heavy priority on pulls, heavy priority on blocking the camps as he drops a Blood Grenade. Kind of just forgot that the guy had rage because that was a bit of a waste. But alas, you get the point. Now after that, there's a lot of plays you can make as a support, and this is where supporting gets a little hard, but I'm going to try to simplify it as much as I can for you guys. At around minute 5, the game changes. People have a lot of levels, often it becomes harder to pressure the safe laner. You can contest mid, you can start stacking the ancients. There's a lot of things you can do. For the first 4 minutes, you basically should always stay in your lane. The only time you should contest a 4-minute water rune is if your offlaner is truly okay alone, which maybe he could have done this game, honestly, but this is definitely a match where like him going mid, the only reason it's truly beneficial is because of the fact that he can stack and then contest the water rune. He's never really going to kill Quap with Pango, and so yeah, he should only really go mid for that purpose. Because you can see Visage ends up dying, mostly due to the fact that 33 messed up, but partially due to the fact that he left the lane. I don't know if he should be in the lane. That's a really hard thing to determine, guys. He could sit there until Visage has level 6 and just be in the area to make sure that this type of play never happens. Because Visage is not a hero that does well when he gets left alone. A lot of these ranged heroes, just that die easy, they don't like being left alone. On the other hand, if you're laning with like a Vanguard hero, you're better off starting to stack and contest runes. And that's what he's doing here. He's stacking, right, off onto the large camp, on the minimark, pushes away Nisha, looking for the power rune, doesn't get it. It is what it is, happens, unfortunate. He's going to come in here, they're going to look to pressure the Quap, obviously. Unfortunately, they do not get the kill on the first go. They try to chase onto him, do they get him? They do. Oh, almost denied as well. Now, as to position 4, the next thing you need to keep in mind is bottle refilling. Bottle refilling is a key part of Dota because the mid lane honestly determines most of the early game. If your mid laner has a good start, they're going to control the tempo of the game and win most of their early game fights, as their heroes tend to do that, just the nature of the mid hero pool and the fact that they have the most levels. And that's what typically makes a good mid hero. Can they do a lot with levels? And if the answer is yes, often it's a good mid hero. And so you're going to see Immersion is going to come in here and refill the bottle. Anytime you die from minute 3 onwards, you should be thinking about this. But he doesn't do anything to Lifestealer at this point. So what do you think he should do? Stack camps, contest runes, and play the resource game. There isn't always a lot of things to do at this point of the game, guys. I'm not going to lie. There isn't always a kill to make. There's not always a play to make. Some games there is. And that's up to you to determine. In this match, he comes top here. I think they want to actually try to take the top tower here, but it is a little bit hard, and I'm not exactly sure why he's here, considering the fact that he can't really kill the lifestealer. And I will admit, I see the vision. You can kind of get off a cheeky flame break and just do a little bit of damage by repositioning the lifestealer, but I think missing out on another ancient / hard camp stack is just not worth it. It's too much gold, and now the fact that you get 30% of the XP from camps that you stack is broken, guys. All right, the priority of 7.33 as a position 4. If your team has a stack taker, this game it's going to be Pangolier or himself, but giving Pangolier a stack this game is going to heavily buff him and his Pangos game. It's way too broken, like to stack. Like if you have a stack taker on your team, which almost every team will, please stack the triangle and get them to take it. It's going to help you to get level 6 and help them snowball. Also, one thing I didn't mention this game, just because it ended up not playing out that way, is the Wisdom Rune. At minute 7, you want to get your Wisdom Rune. And at this point, you're typically playing for your level 6. It depends on your hero, right? So Batrider is a pretty 6 reliant hero. It's not that, at level 4 you do nothing. You definitely actually do quite a bit of damage. But at level 6, your hero completely changes. It then provides a lot of control. And so once again, the best way to get this is to look for a lane or stack. And as you see, he now makes stacks for the Pango, and you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna sat mid. This is why it's a snowball effect to stack, and I'm harping on it so much because I've realized the potent effects of stacking and how significant it is. And so when we start this clip, he has 170 gold, and as I said, this is not gonna completely break the game, but he has 170 gold. He's gonna get a lot of the shared gold from the stacks dying. He's going to get a good amount of the XP, but most importantly, he's going to get a lane to farm, right? So not only does he gain about 1/4 of a level, which you might be saying, wow, speed, 1/4 of a level, is that really it? Well, keep in mind, Pango didn't take the ancient stacks. And in a lot of games, if you have heroes that can take a quad or a 5 ancient stack, that's where the XP lies, because the ancients have way more XP than large creeps, right? And so not only do you now get to sap mid, but you get the ancient stack XP, and so things start to snowball in your favor. Unfortunately, the Pango is a little bit greedy, and so, well, he's not greedy, but he comes back mid, and so Immersion is going to have to find XP another way, but you get the gist of how to get XP as a support. Now, because Batrider's a really stupid hero, if you hit level 5 and your teammates are not paying attention to what you've been doing, or there's just a lot of space on the map, Firefly doing 90 damage per second is one of the craziest abilities in the game. It's so crazy that it can even take down mud golems, and you can see that almost shoots him fully up to level 6. Also, getting into this point of the game, he has Tranquil Boots, Magic Wand. He does need the occasional Clarity to sustain his mana pool. He has a neutral item, right, the Seeds of Serenity, to be very sustainable and give himself even more heal. And now he has a Smoke, which I love, because when you're coming on close to level 6, you really want to have a Smoke so you can make a play with the Flaming Lasso. And you can see that's exactly what he does. Immersion, right as he hits level 6, is going to smoke up his Pangolier. They do look for the Veno here, which isn't the greatest of kills, unfortunately, but alas, they pick up a Veno kill. From there, he's just kind of looking to play with his strongest hero. The Visage comes mid, and this is just a good read from Immersion that he can potentially get the lasso. It ends up being really close, and unfortunately, they don't take down Nisha, but it was a good try. Honestly, they probably could have killed him if 33 dropped the birds, but he probably just didn't know or think that Nisha had Blink Up again. At the end of the day, it was a good try, and you want to use your lasso as it's a pretty low cooldown at 90 seconds. Now, the next thing is imperative. It is key, very key. 14-minute wisdom runes, guys. 14-minute wisdom runes. Look at his level, okay? Remember, wisdom runes goes to the person who picks it up and to the lowest XP person. So this wisdom rune is going to shoot him up to level 7 and a 4th, right? And then the next one, which the Pango is going to TP and get, is going to bring him to level 8. He went from level 6 and 3/4 straight to level 8. And now because he's Batrider, who's once again a stupid hero, he's gonna kill some jungle creeps. This is not something you would do on your average support hero, but it is something you need to keep in mind on a lot of support heroes like Chen or Enchantress, maybe even a Clockwork with Battery Assault being good against creeps. You know, it can be lane creeps if you're playing Spirit Breaker, and so sometimes you'll see pros making a play like that on these specific heroes. And the reason why is it distributes the farm well around the map. Yeah, in this fight, he doesn't really do anything, he kind of just leads in. Batrider's a pretty tanky hero, and he doesn't really mind chatting up, tanking the gank, and baiting for his team. at the end of the day, they're like so far ahead, so someone just kind of has to go in and suicide so that their team can clean up. Because when you're this far ahead, if you're ever snowballing guys, like they're owning. If you're ever snowballing as a support, you can kind of just run in and die. As long as your team is close, please don't just go die. Make sure your team is close and it's actually a good idea. But yeah, around the minute 15 mark, this is when you typically want to start fighting. You're often going to have your first major item, whether or not that's maybe a drums, or if you're working towards a blink, you're close to that. Because he's 0-3, keep in mind guys, like he's not having some insane game. In terms of net worth, he's not like way up there, so this is pretty standard for net worth. You're going to have a Pavis, a medallion, but you could have a drums, especially if you went windlace as a casual item. You certainly could have these items. And, you know, with these items, you're pretty strong. He is going to go back to stacking again and clearing the midwave, which is just a Batrider classic, as it's going to allow him to hit level 9, and he's working towards that blink. And yeah, from there, I'm not going to cover like every possible play you can make as a support, because frankly, you can do anything. You can push in lanes, especially if you're position 4. You can push in lanes, you can fight, you can call Roche, you can get down deep wards, you can continue to stack the triangle, which frankly isn't that bad. You have a lot of options. It's about determining what is best at the certain point of the game. And now at this point in the game, everything is just hero specific and map specific. You know, I can't really give like general ideas of how to play at this point. It's kind of like make reads, try to get the jump, play vision, that type of thing, right? Play your vision, play your wards, don't siege towers too early, get Roche when you can. And in this clip, they're smoked up. He's going to find a jump, ends up getting him killed, but at the end of the day, it's fine, right? Lets him get a clean initiation onto the Veno, which is a great target. From there, the Rolling Thunder hits literally okay, not literally everyone. It hits a lot of heroes. It forces out a bad disruption, sets up for a good fight, and often that's key, right? He is just the Blink Dagger initiator of this game. If that's your role, if you're playing Tiny Tusk, that's what you should do. If you're playing Wyvern, you kind of just got to trust your initiators to go in. Sit behind them, keep good spacing, and look to win fights later on. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this video made it pretty clear on what to do. I wanted to make it as simple and straightforward as possible because honestly, I think at the end of the day, a lot of us need reminders of what are the fundamentals of good Dota, because that's what makes a good Dota player. Like making the right decision over and over and over again. And to be fair, a lot of this video actually was quite advanced. For instance, blocking the small camp and unblocking the large camp at second 57 is a very advanced play. It seems straightforward, and it is straightforward. It's whether or not you do it and you know the positioning to do it, and you know the timing, and you have the awareness to do it. That is the hard part. Really, from there, it's just about doing it. It's not mechanically difficult. A lot of Dota isn't really mechanically difficult. It's being smart, knowing when to stack. You have to just be smart. You have to have awareness of the clock, knowing when, you know, to pick up runes. A lot of good Dota is paying attention to the clock and understanding what the times on the clock mean, right? Funny enough, it's like knowing what the numbers on the clock mean. It really determines how you play. But all right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And I'm out.
And that's all. But remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.